Hi, everyone. Welcome to Not Your Mama's Drama podcast with Tanika and Marianne. I'm Tanika.
And I'm Marianne. Hi, Tanika. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. What's your drama today?
So, my drama today is family vacations, the planning, the um, relaxation of it, and trying to make sure it's not really that dramatic.
Yeah, it's hard. It sounds easier than it is, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, you have kids, you have a husband, you've gone on vacations, you know how it goes. So, when you go on a vacation, a family vacation, what are you looking for?
So I look to when to get away. I also don't want it to be too expensive because I feel like my kids can't really appreciate it and they can take their expensive vacations when they can afford it themselves. So I want it to be like, financially um within reason. And then to create a really good memory is what I want. That's what I feel like is the most important. It's not so much like where we're going, it's more like what's the memory that we're going to get out of this. Let's just have a peaceful time and remember that it was fun.
I fully agree. So, I look for relaxation, fun, bonding between the family, making sure we kind of have that closeness and new experiences. I really appreciate that. And the memories, like you said. So, I have a slightly different dynamic than you do because my kids are 15, 10, 5. They're all over the place.
Mhm.
They're 15 years apart between the oldest and the youngest, and then 10 between the oldest and the middle, 5 between the middle and the youngest. So, I have to plan a vacation that suits adults, teens, and preteens every time. And that can be very challenging. But what I like to do though is, like you said, I like to look for a budget friendly place. And
Mhm.
what I've learned is all inclusive can really be your friend.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the all inclusive. Well, and also for planning, I feel like all inclusive, you've planned it and then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about who's going to like the food, who's not going to like the food, and you've already paid for it. So it's not like when you're there, you're like, oh, we can afford this, we can't afford this. No, you've already done all that homework and you could really go and enjoy.
Exactly. So those I think tend to be very relaxing, which really
Mhm.
hits the mark for me.
Yeah.
And they tend to be all on one resort though. So unless you're paying additional for those other excursions, and if you feel safe enough to leave the resort, all of those things play into whether or not you'll do stuff outside of the resort.
Mhm.
But one of our better vacations for the family when it was all 5 of us was when we went to Mexico. And we did one or two excursions off the resort, but the resort had so much. So there was hang gliding, parasailing. I would
Mhm.
never do that, but my husband and my oldest did it. They had bikes, they had dance classes, they had tons of food, various restaurants. So that was really a great vacation for us. And then when we did feel very adventurous, we got on a city bus in Cancun and
Wow.
we went to a local mall. The first mall we went to, we realized we were not, that was not it. The safety factor was not really where we needed it to be. So we asked one of the vendors there, where should we go with our family to be safe, to be, get some new experience. And then he gave us a different bus. So we got to tour the city. We got to see the locals. We ate at a restaurant when we were out that day, and we just had a really good time. So those types of things are very good for a family vacation. I think when you luck up and get a nice local to tell you what to do, or you find out the activities from like the resort activity director type person.
Yeah, we cruise. We've never been to a resort vacation, and that is something that I want to do. But we usually take cruises, and I enjoy, seeing the water, and I enjoy the packages, and I really enjoy having it all planned out, which I think is probably very similar to the resort experience, where there's just so much to do. I
Right.
enjoy all the restaurants. I enjoy not having to wait for my food to be prepared because that is something that I really do not like. I don't like to be hungry and waiting for food. So in these places, there's a ton of food that's already like pre-prepared, and when it's time for you to eat, the food comes out quickly. There are buffet stations where you can go and get food before you go to a formal dinner. So that's always nice because it's really hard when you're on vacation. You don't have access to your home and your kitchen to appease everyone that is hungry at different times. Like
Yeah.
I can be okay and be hungry for a little bit, but my husband is hungry and he gets very, very upset when the kids are hungry. They want to eat at that moment. So it's nice to have food that's easily accessible. I like that.
I fully agree. So now I've also done vacations, like we've been to Disney, and we don't live in Florida. So when we go to Disney, it's a plane ride, it's
Mhm.
staying at some place. And we've done both. We've stayed at Disney on property, and we've also stayed in a house, like an Airbnb type thing. We've also stayed in hotels. So we've had the full experience with Disney. And for Disney, I mean, it's crazy expensive. I love it. Not backlashing Disney at all. I absolutely love it. It is one of my favorite places on earth, but it's crazy expensive. So, when you're walking around with that turkey leg, that was $10 for me, for my husband, for my son, and my daughter. That's $50. And you have a snack.
And it's not even that good for 50
Yeah.
bucks.
So, I mean, those places can really get to be very expensive. So, what we try to do for those type places that are not a resort, and we don't do cruises because I don't do boats. It's not my thing. No one can try to get me to say otherwise because it's just not for me.
You should try it. It's just highly recommended. You're all these people that don't do boats, they are missing out on the experience of a lifetime.
That's what I've heard from so many people, and I'll never know. You guys are just going to have to keep telling me about it because I will never know.
And you don't even feel the boat moving. Like maybe that was in the, as my kids say, the olden days when the boats were smaller. Now these are like the Titanic times 25. These things are so big and they're moving so slowly that no, you cannot feel that you're in the ocean.
So you said Titanic. That was strike one.
I made a mistake.
You said in the ocean, and once I can't see land, now I'm not a very strong swimmer, but in my mind, if I needed to, I could get me and my whole family back to shore if I can see it. But if I
Hmm.
can't see it, where am I going? I
Yeah.
can't. I can't do that.
You won't see it. You won't see it. But luckily, before you leave the boat, before the boat like departs, the first
Mhm.
thing they do is a drill that shows you what to do in an emergency. And you have this spot that's specifically designated for you. And you get to that spot, and the boat does not leave until everyone finds their spot. This is thousands of people. And this drill is done in like 15 minutes. So that's how safe you are. If they can move thousands of people in 15 minutes. No, not
No,
convincing. Okay.
not at all. It's just not for me. I'll go on you know what, there's I'm sorry, a commercial where they cruise to an island, and the island is very has all the water parks and all that type of stuff, the beach and all that. And I said, if I can see both ends on that cruise ship, if I can see where I'm going to, and then when I get there, still see where I'm going back to, I might try that.
They
Maybe.
do have some that don't go very far. Those might be for you. Like they stay in Miami and they go through the Bahamas and they're like it's all very close. You could swim there if you wanted to. So,
See, I need it to be swimmable.
yeah. So maybe those are for you. Like, it's 80 miles swimmable, but it's not 800.
And by the way, just so everyone knows, yeah, my swimming skills get me like 8 feet, not 80, like 8 feet. And then I'm like, ooh, I'm exhausted.
I know. I'm not a strong swimmer either, and I don't go close to the edge. Like I'm very concerned about falling off or my kids falling off. So I'm really very careful about going near the sides of the boat. And not because, I mean, it doesn't matter how strong a swimmer you are, you're not going to survive that fall. Those things are
No.
so high.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to perish that way. I would like to go other ways, but falling off a boat is not the way I want to go. And my kids want to like walk around this boat freely, because they're like, oh, this vacation, this is so safe. I'm like, I just can't trust you guys. You're going to be fooling around and then something's going to happen. So no, no, no walking around. Like, you could go like maybe 5 minutes and then come back because I get very concerned about that. So I won't say that it's completely worry free, but it's partially worry free. I won't get a room with a balcony ever, ever, ever will I get a room.
Wow.
No, I'm not doing that. So I take my precautions.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, it's still scary, and I would never do it. Like I said, I may stay in one that docks only. But I can't imagine doing a cruise ship. However, the convenience of having everything all in one place, like a resort where
Hmm.
you can go to and walk around freely, I like that. You
Yeah.
can't fall off a resort.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just like really having, I feel like those are the best mom vacations. When you go to a resort, when you go to a cruise, when you go to these places where everything has been done, everything has been planned, because I don't know if it's just me, but vacations are not always that relaxing. Like I'm really just doing it for the memories because it's a lot of work. Like I think
Yeah.
I'll relax more if I just stay home for the weekend all alone than to go on a vacation.
And let
Like,
the family go.
just let them go. Let them go and I'll stay here. It is a lot of work and you get, some nice pictures and some good memories, but it's like you need a vacation from the vacation because even when you're there, you're trying to still make sure everyone's okay, everyone's happy. You might not have to cook and do laundry and do some of the things that are the day to day, but it still takes some work, I think, to go on vacation.
It absolutely does. And, that is why I definitely recommend that you plan and plan out events. So, we just came from vacation. We were on spring break in the Outer Banks, and we decided to do a beach tour, which we go to the Outer Banks every year, and we've never done like the official beach tour. We just drive along the beach ourselves and look for the horses, and it's really cool. So, this year we said, why don't we just do a beach tour? So, we just walked up to the window and said, we'll take, 15 tickets, and because it's me and two other families, and they were like, sorry, we're booked up for like the next 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I
So
didn't expect that.
I know. So I'm kind of a planner. So I do like make sure that we have things to do. So I'll research and, I want to make sure to get some adventurous things in and it for unplanned vacation. So this is for the things that, are not like the cruises. I will look for things to do. But the best is when my sister comes because my sister will do it all. She'll do then all the planning. She'll make us like an itinerary. It'll say like the departure time. She'll make reservations. She will make sure that we go to whatever activity it is. So if you're not a good planner, just make sure to have a planner on your team that will do it because it's a lot of work to do all that planning. So I'll go anywhere with her just so I don't have to plan.
So for my family, I am the planner. So when we go on just the five of us vacations, I kind of plan it out to a T. And what I learned from that is that it's highly stressful. Like I feel like I am making the memories. We are climbing the mountains, literally climbing mountains, and we are, having the great pictures, and we're going to the luau, and we're doing all of the things. But when I come back, I'm like exhausted. And if I don't have at least one day in between coming back from a vacation and having to go to work, I'm just kind of spent. I'm done for.
Hmm.
So I like to do the planning as well. But for this vacation, the one we just came back from, I didn't plan anything. I wanted to see how it felt. It's a little uneasy.
That sounds really interesting. What happened?
So we did stuff like go to the window to do the beach tour, and we couldn't do the beach tour. So lesson learned there. But we flew kites, which was awesome. It's very inexpensive. All you need is wind. and your
Mhm.
family. We had great smiles, great day. We went to several different restaurants, and for some of them, they were booked up. Couldn't go to those, so we went to a different restaurant. And then we did something else. Oh, went to the top of a lighthouse, which I love to do. I don't know when this love came about. I had to have been over 40, but I found out that climbing up a lighthouse was extremely rewarding to me.
Oh, I've never done
Yeah.
that.
It was awesome. And so it depends on how high it is, I guess. But I think the last one we went up was 220 steps,
Wow.
which is decent. It's a decent amount of steps.
Yeah.
And then when you get up there, you're kind of winded, but the reward is so great. The wind, the sun is very clear. You can see around the entire town. It
Mhm.
was amazing. So we got to do that. But, I just found myself sleeping in to like 10. And that was amazing. That was wonderful. It's not something that happens in my life.
Yeah. How did you get to
And
do that? No, do people know not to wake you up? Do you like set boundaries before you go to sleep? Sometimes I do that. I go around, I'm like, no one wake me up till 9 a.m. Don't make any noise. Do not wake me up.
we just, I don't know, we kind of coexisted. Again, there was me and two other families, 14 of us all together. It was a huge house, 11-bedroom house, 10 and a half bathrooms, something like that. There was plenty of space. So my husband and I did sleep upstairs, which was where the kitchen was, which everyone goes to,
Yeah.
So outside of maybe the early morning breakfast risers, if you heard a little, pots and pans or a couple clanks of the bowl. Other than that, it was fine. And I got to sleep in. And even my 10-year-old didn't bother me before 10 a.m. I don't know. I guess she was just happy to be there.
Yeah. It sounds like a fun vacation. Did
It
the kids
was.
not make a lot of noise at night? Like did everyone just go to sleep at the same time? See, I have like a sleeping issue. I need quiet when I go to sleep.
It was not bad. I mean, the house was so large that if you were on the other side of the house, then I didn't hear you. So if your
Mhm.
room was not like directly under my room, I didn't hear you. So that was great.
Yeah.
And then and we had so we have four teenage boys between the three families, and the boys were under us. So outside of their gaming systems, which they had headphones on half the time, you barely heard anything at all from them.
Oh, that sounds good. It sounds like you guys have like a nice vacation dynamic going. You've
We
got this
do.
all
We've
set.
been doing that for a few years, and it really does serve us pretty well. Now, there were some issues with the girls. They're 10 now, so they're kind of prepubescent,
Mhm.
and it's a new territory, which was kind of uncharted. And, we had to navigate some issues. But outside of that, I think we had a really good time.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. My sister and I vacation a lot together. So we have like a vacation dynamic going where we're always planning to go to places together. And it just works out because we both get along really well. And then she does the planning and she brings the fun, and I might bring some of the organization. And the kids love to be together. So it works
Right.
out. We have a big family vacation now planned to Puerto Rico in June, and so it would be nine of us. So my four, and then her family of five. And it's always just super easygoing. And then we have a cruise planned in at the end of July. And this is the second time, no, this is the third time that we do this, where we have a cruise that is just a whole bunch of people. And I think the first time it was like 15, the next time it was like 20. And I don't even know how many people are going this time because it's like my family, my husband's family. It's just, I'm going to have to give you the number and report out how many people. I would say it would probably be close to 30 people that are going
Wow.
on this cruise. But it's good because you get a really good family memory. You go to places that are big enough for everyone to just kind of go their own way,
Yeah.
because you can't always be together. That's a recipe for disaster if it's too many people and you're trying to do everything together. So we've had a good experience going on these big cruises and just everyone. spreading out and making their own memories and meeting at dinner.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good plan. And that's kind of also what we did on this last vacation. And again, I just really took it easy. And I think that has been one of the more relaxing family vacations I've had in quite a while. So I wanted to ask you a question. Do you typically try to go to a new place for new experiences, or do you go to tried and true places?
So I would say that I mostly try to go to tropical places, and because tropical places all look alike, I really don't mind where I'm going. Like you know, I'm not like I need to go to Tahiti or I need to. It's to me they all look alike. They all have the water. I'm sure. Why that's an exaggeration. There are some places that are very very beautiful, but
Yeah.
overall, I'm really just looking for a vacation that is not very expensive and somewhere where we can just be sure to do some fun things that we like the water and drink alcohol and have some nightlife and get to eat some food. So the answer would be that I'm going on a cruise and I don't even know where this cruise is going in July. I don't know which ports because it doesn't matter. I'm really there for the boat.
Got it. So you're more of a, you've tried it, the cruise is true, it works out the same for you each time.
Yeah, yeah,
For
it's a different
me,
boat.
yeah, for me and my family, so what we do is we love Myrtle Beach. I don't know why, we have no real affinity to it except that that's where my husband proposed to me. And but prior to that, we had no real reason to go, but we just went and we loved it. So we go there pretty much either every 2 or 3 years. But in the off years, in the non Myrtle Beach years, because we know we're going to love it when we go to Myrtle Beach, we know we're going to go to a few restaurants that are the same each time, we're going to have a great time there. But on those non Myrtle Beach years, we try to do something new that we've never done before. So, 2 or 3 years ago, my son graduated college. I said, you can go anywhere in the world. And he decided to go to Hawaii. That was amazing. I don't know if every single beach place is the same because I feel like Hawaii had a couple ticks extra. They
Yeah.
were pretty awesome. So we just try to do something new. I think this year we're going to go to Seattle, and I'm like super excited, but it better not rain the entire time. That's all I'm saying.
Mhm.
I want
But
my
I
money back.
feel like maybe you bring a different personality to this where you enjoy everywhere that you go. Like you must be an adventurous person, you must like to see new places. Do you feel like maybe that has something to do with your enjoyment of these vacations?
I do. We all like to see new places and do new things. On in the Hawaii vacation, my son, the 25-year-old who was 22 at the time, um, said, "Hey, let's go climb a mountain." And I kind of thought he was joking. We not only climbed one, but two mountains in one day. I think we all got like 30,000 steps that day.
Wow.
Why would you do that? Why would you? But he planned it that way. That's what he wanted to do. It was his graduation. So we did it. At that time, I guess my daughter was 7, right? She was not feeling it.
You didn't climb the mountain or she did and she just didn't like it?
She and I went about halfway up, and she was like, I don't want to do it. I don't like it. It's too many bugs. It's too dirty. It's too hot. I don't like it." We went back down. The boys went up. The girls went down and had Hawaiian ice.
Oh, nice. Well, she did half the mountain. That's okay. We'll take it.
She did. She went up the other one. We went all the way up the second one, which was extremely difficult. She cried the entire time. She was extremely upset with everybody on that trip. But that's part of one of my tips. You're going to have to accept some setbacks. You're
Yeah.
not always going to be able to please the entire family the entire time. And it's okay because we can look back at that now and laugh.
Mhm.
I think she laughs. I don't know if she's laughing yet, but she will eventually. It's a
Yeah.
good memory.
I'm really good about like setting boundaries. So sometimes before we go, I do like my little speech of we're going to have a good time. Everyone's going to have a good time and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to behave. We're going to act like we have manners. We are not going to fight. We're not going to, argue about little things. We're going to be open. So sometimes I think that it's worth it to have that conversation. Like if, when you're at Target and you tell your kids, okay, we're going to get out of the car. Don't ask me for anything. We're
Yeah.
going in to buy this, that, and the other. You can have that vacation talk before you go and kind of set the mood a little bit.
I've done that many times. I don't think it's ever worked
No.
100% effectively. No, I don't think so. But I've done it many times. Like, listen, we're going here for vacation, relaxation, fun. You're going to feel love. You're going to give love. And I don't want to hear any lip about it.
No, it doesn't set in. Oh,
No, it doesn't. They're still going to argue. Someone's still going to want chicken nuggets when we're at a steak place. Someone's still going to want to, not climb the mountain when the other four want to climb, but it's okay. And again, I think that kind of creates these memories that you'll hang on to forever. She is never going to forget hating every single step of climbing that mountain, but she climbed it.
that's true. Yeah, the memory could be that you did it and it wasn't all that great, but you remember going up that mountain. That's a good point.
Yeah. So another tip I have is to maybe not go to such crowded places, not go to super duper high touristy areas during their high season, because that can just lead to frustration and many meltdowns with your children if they
Isn't
can't
that
do
right?
everything they want to do.
That's one of the most horrible experiences. Like one time I went to Disney and it was I think it was Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. What a dumb thing to do. It was so crowded and so unenjoyable. It was so crowded that when we watched a parade, they would have to guide us to exit the parade because there was just so many people that no one could move. I mean, if you're going on a day where the park says we have a probability of closing today, it's probably not a good day to go. So, to your point, no, do not go to crowded places. It is not going to be an enjoyable experience.
Right. You have so much more fun when you have room to breathe and when you have space to be like, and be a little bit more on your schedule
Yeah.
than being kind of corralled around
Right.
because it's so crowded and you got to, get to everything at a certain time.
And it creates so many difficulties because when you're alone, you could kind of deal with waiting for food and waiting in the bathroom. But when you're with your whole family and everyone has to wait to go to the bathroom multiple times and people are hungry and they're upset. So, yeah, it creates a lot of difficulties. And you've already spent the money. So it's a little bit of a waste. Yep.
So I wanted to ask you, is your favorite family vacation of all time, either when you were a child or as a mom?
So as a mom, I've tried to create a lot of memories for the girls. I don't know that they remember all of them, but I've taken a lot of pictures. So that is one thing about me. And my sister's children hate that I take so many pictures to the point that in the youngest one's last birthday, he was like, "Why did you invite her? She's going to be taking pictures the entire time." Because I do. I take a lot of pictures. But my favorite memory is when the girls were 5 and 3, and I took them to Disney. And it was their first time, and as we're walking in, the Disney parade and the show starts in the big castle. And
Hmm.
that's the one where Mickey Mouse comes out and Minnie Mouse and all the princesses come out. And we were lucky because it was starting and we went right up to the front and they saw all the princesses and their expression of like, oh my God, it's Cinderella and she's right there. They were just in
Yeah.
such awe of seeing them that I'm not a crier, but tears were rolling down my eyes just of the innocence and the excitement in their faces. So that's
Oh,
my
that's
best memory.
lovely. I love that. So I think my favorite vacation probably it's going to be hard to top Hawaii. Hawaii
Mhm.
was amazing. The luau was amazing. The storytelling, the people, everybody was so stinking pretty.
Yeah.
Jesus, their skin and their hair was amazing.
Mhm.
But the food was great. We just had such a good time. We went to, I guess I can't plug a hotel, but we went to a hotel that had an evening reception. So the adults at that time, DeAndre was already 22, so he was an adult. We got free drinks every night, unlimited. Plus, there were like really good snacks, not just chips, but like homemade chips and queso and like lamb kebabs. It was delicious. Everything was so good every night. And they switched it up every single night. Plus, they had entertainment and just driving along the beach and looking at the ocean and going to the mountains. It was everything was so beautiful. I don't think I can top like what we saw and what we did and what we experienced. And I'm not really big into flying. I don't
Mhm.
love it. So, but I do, I just want to get to my destination and go. Well, we're in Maryland and Hawaii is really far that way.
Yeah, it's
So it was
true.
a very long flight. I did not love the flying part of it, but it was so worth it to be there.
Mhm. And it's also worth it when you spend money on good experiences. Like you're saying, the shows were great, the food was great. Sometimes just researching a little bit and just paying a
Yeah,
little bit to get on a better flight or to be at a better hotel, it really adds to the memory. You think, oh, no, I'm just going to save money and I'm going to see Hawaii. But the better the experience, definitely the better the vacation.
absolutely. And which, I appreciate a good hotel. I love Airbnb and Verbo because you get to have like a really nice house, but who is cleaning that house?
Yeah.
Me. No, thank you. Going to a hotel, a nice beautiful hotel where they clean up for you every day is like that's priceless to me.
Yeah. Well, the summer's coming, so I'm excited to hear what vacations you have going on, and I'll be sure to let you know about mine and my how many people is it that are going on that cruise with us? 200, 225?
That's what it's going to feel like. So I just want to wrap up and say that family vacations are awesome. Typically, I'm going to need a vacation still, even if everything went perfectly well. I still needed like a day's break between coming back from wherever we were before I have to rejoin the real world again, whether it's work or whatever it is. I need a day to just kind of sit in my house and be happy about being back home again. I definitely look for the inexpensive options when we're going because anything times five is a lot. Trust me,
Yeah, it's
no
true.
matter what it is.
I know.
So planning is good. And I heard you, I wanted to touch on this really quickly and then we've got to go. But you said you take a lot of pictures. So we have that same argument with my husband who wants to take a picture of every single thing you do. And we're like, live it. You can't just take a picture of it, live it, experience it. But then when you go back through the pictures, you're like, oh, I remember this. And oh, I remember how I felt. And oh, that was so pretty. Oh, look at how funny that was. So you got to strike a balance between the pictures and living it. But I appreciate the picture taken once it is over.
Yes, appreciate the photographer because otherwise you forget all of this stuff that you did.
I agree. Well, you're probably not going to forget all the stuff, but you may not remember the detail without the pictures. How about that?
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I agree.
So everybody go out. It's summer is around the corner. Enjoy your family vacations or your single vacations, your girl trips, your guy trips, whatever you're doing. Have fun, plan it out, and just live in the moment.
Yep. And it doesn't have to be all the way to the other side of the world. It could just be an hour and a half away, 2 hours away. There's adventures everywhere. It's really just about seeing something new and relaxing a little bit. A change of scenery and a drink of your preference.
Exactly. And hopefully warmer weather. I guess some people like colder, but it's not for me.
No,
Warmer, sunnier days.
I agree. I
All
agree.
right. Well, I really appreciate you guys sharing your time with us. Thank you so much for listening to Not Your Mama's Drama, and we hope to see you next time.
Thank you for listening, everyone. See you soon.
Bye bye.